Welcome to another edition of Sports Talk NYC. I've done a few videos now, and surprisingly enough, I have done nothing on baseball. Now, baseball is arguably my favorite sport next to wrestling. I watch baseball every day, big Mets fan. You can cue the boos now, but either way. And as a Mets fan, this video is definitely going to be hard to do, because I'll be talking about one of our rivals, the Washington Nationals, the team that has come essentially from the cellar of the NL East now to the top, and seemingly like they're going to stay there for a long time. It's definitely been a long time coming for that franchise, even before them being in Washington. Being the Montreal Expos. It's been a long time coming for them to get out of the cellar, but it looks like they're going to stay out. Their roster is completely set up to just last for years now, and a lot of it is based around great pitching. They have their ace in Steven Strasburg, who's only 23 years old, and they have, who I guess is their ace 2, like their 1A ace, Gio Gonzalez, only 26 years old, lefty, great 1-2 punch that they're going to have for a long time coming. And then behind them, they have Edwin Jackson, who has always been looks like he's been being a journeyman. He's been on a few teams, never really stuck anywhere. But if the Nats wanted to sign him, he's only 28 years old, and he's pitching just as well as, well, maybe not as well as Strasburg and Gonzalez. Let me not go that far. But he's definitely a very good complementary piece to them. In the bullpen, they have fireballer Henry Rodriguez on the DL right now, but when healthy, he throws 97, 98 constantly. And in situations where you need a strikeout, Henry Rodriguez has always been the man in the bullpen for them. After that, the setup man, Tyler Clippard, who's been filling in as the closer for the most part this year. He's just tremendous stuff. Great changeup, live fastball. He's a great setup man. Probably one of the best in all of baseball, behind Johnny Venters in Atlanta. And then finally, while we haven't seen him once this year, Drew Storen, the closer, he's another young kid that he's going to stick around for a long time. And an injury like this doesn't send him back too much, then it's going to be great for Washington. That bullpen is going to be set. And really, most of their success this year can be attributed to their pitching. Strasburg has 8 wins. Gio Gonzalez has 8 wins. Both of their ERAs are just phenomenally low. Edwin Jackson, though the win-loss record isn't where he'd want it to be, the ERA is just above 3. So he's pitching very well as the number 3 starter. Then you look at the rest of the bullpen, the fact that Storen hasn't closed the game. He hasn't pitched in a game this year for Washington. And Tyler Clippard and Henry Rodriguez have had to fill in. And the fact that Washington is 11 games over 500 because of that, it's pretty crazy. Their offense is ranked pretty low in baseball right now, but they're very good with timely hitting. You have guys like Adam LaRoche, who's been a veteran now. He's played for about 7 to 8 years. And he's just a power left-hand bat who just clobbers the ball when he gets a hold of it. You have guys like Mike Morse, who's another power hitter, who hasn't really stuck anywhere in his career either, as compared to Edwin Jackson. He's finally coming around and becoming this very powerful hitter. Ian Desmond, not known for his defensive gold-glove prowess, but definitely is a good hitter for a shortstop. And I believe is second on the team with home runs and RBIs, and has been one of their most effective hitters. And of course, you can't talk offense, Washington Nationals offense, without mentioning 2 players. One, the franchise man, Ryan Zimmerman. The guy's I like to consider him the second best third baseman, because I am a David Wright fan. It's very arguable to say that he's the best third baseman in baseball, but for my argument, I'll keep him at number 2. But nonetheless, number 1, number 2, doesn't matter. He is the anchor to that offense. He's the run producer. He's the clutch hitter. He's everything Washington needs him to be. and he's going to be there for a while. So that helps in building a franchise and putting them to the top, is having a hitter like, not even just a hitter, a player like Zimmerman, because he's a phenomenal hitter, a Gold Glove third baseman, and a leader, and that's something that every franchise needs. Washington has that. And then behind him, what's being called as the next phenom, the next kid, as an allude to Ken Griffey Jr. back when he was an 18, 19-year-old kid. Bryce Harper is now getting those names. He's the kid. He's the next phenom. He's 19 years old, and he's played very well in the majors. He's adjusted very well. I mean, outside of his shaky beginning and outside of the Cole Hamels incident, which I guess isn't his fault necessarily, though Harper does have this kind of attitude about him that he knows he's the best, or he's going to be the best. Outside of those two things, and outside of him not playing very well against the Bronx Bomber New York Yankees, he gets an 0 for 7 in the extra inning game the other day. Goes 3 for 15 overall in the 3-game series. So he did not have a good series against them. He was actually batting over 300 when he went into that series, and now he's back to the very high 280s, 290s, which is still obviously very respectable. So Harper, overall, he's playing very well. He's a great hitter, good defender, and he hustles. As a rookie, that's something you really, really love to see. Because rookies, they get to the show, they're the main attraction, and they kind of they play every day as if, they didn't earn it. Like they were supposed to be there from the beginning. Harper looks like he's still earning a spot. That's the way he plays anyway. He runs out every ball. He catches everything he can. He's hustling. He stretches singles into doubles. He does everything right. Now, sometimes you're going to get to see a lot of the growing pains of a rookie, and that happens with everyone. But at 19 years old, if he can get over those growing pains rapidly, you could see one of the best players in baseball at the age of 21, 22. And he's going to have such a long career that it's just like, this is the beginning and the building of a possible Hall of Fame career. And if you think about whether he can stay healthy or not, because he does hustle so much. He hustles so much that the chance for injury is just so high that can he stay healthy enough to play a full season? So far, so good. Obviously, he's 19 years old, so whether he gets an injury or not, he can probably recover pretty well. But down the road, into his mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, I may be going way ahead of myself, but durability may be a problem. Other than that, the Nationals are pretty set for the future, because most of the guys I mentioned, if not all of them, outside of, let's say, Adam LaRoche, the first baseman, are under 30 years old, so they have a shot to really be a great team in the NL. Not just the East, the whole National League. You see teams like Philadelphia, just not doing good this year, obviously because they're missing their two biggest bats in the lineup, and also now their best pitcher in Roy Halladay. So injuries and age are really bringing down the Phillies. You look at the Marlins. They brought in all these free agent acquisitions. Most of them are just not panning out right now. Heath Bell can't even close games. Jose Reyes is kind of going on and off as a hitter. Burley is kind of floated under the radar, but he's pitching about average. You look at Atlanta, who seemingly can't get their team together. They always seem to have a very good roster, good lineup, great pitching, but it never comes together completely. It never meshes. And then you got my favorite team, the Mets. Now, I would love to say that they're the best team in the league and all that stuff, but in honesty, they are inconsistent. The pitching, though, has been a bright spot. Everyone seems to be pitching where they potentially should have pitched a long time ago. Guys like John Neese are finally getting it together. R.A. Dickey has been phenomenal start after start. But obviously they also don't have a lot of hitting, a lot of offense. Ike Davis is finally turning it around. David Wright has kind of cooled off a little bit after starting very hot, almost hitting 400 practically. So the Nationals definitely have a shot. Sirens. The Nationals definitely have a shot to win this year. And if you look at their their schedule coming up for the All-Star break, they're playing Baltimore twice, 2 series, and Baltimore's they're slumping now. Colorado hasn't been good all year. Atlanta. These are all teams that the Nationals can beat. So right now they're only about 3 games ahead in the NL East in their #1 spot, but they could stretch this lead out. They could really run away with it by the time we hit mid-August, end of August. And whether they do or not, it's going to be surrounded by pitching. Whether they get Drew Storen back, whether Strasburg and Gonzalez and Jackson continue to pitch the way they do, and the timely hitting. Harper, Zimmerman, Morse, LaRoche, they're going to do their thing. So this team is set to win for a long time. My biggest thing is that I would love to see a team like this win a world championship. And what better time than now? Obviously, they're going to go for it, but I think they can win it very soon. If not this year, within the next 3 to 5 years. So this has been Sports Talk NYC. I hope all the fans in DC are loving this video. As a Mets fan, it's a bullet I had to take.